Good. Thank you so much to all of Dundale. Dundale, well done, Dundale. Well done to Grove. I know, Grove, there's lots of you. And thank you to the numerous schools who are joining us online. So these two cameras are streaming to 50 or 60 schools around the country. The most northernmost is in Aberdeenshire, which is amazing. And we've got schools down in Cornwall as well. So we're covering the entire length and breadth of the British Isles. So isn't that brilliant? Anyway, you've had enough of me. So can I welcome to the stage your brilliant authors, Greg James and Chris Smith.
Hello! Hello, everyone!
Hi! Hi! Oh, you're all so excited and look so great, and it's a lovely hot sunny day. Hello at the top! Now, guys, and also, hello to everyone on the internet.
Hello on the internet.
Wave at the internet. There's
hello.
a camera up there. Wave at that camera.
Hello,
everyone.
Aberdeenshire. Hello, Cornwall. Hello, all points in between.
What a treat. It's very, very nice to be here in Tring on this lovely, hot, sunny day to talk to you about our books. So my name is Greg James. This is Chris Smith.
Hello there, and we've got bookseller Ben here as well from the lovely Our Bookshop next door, who is going to be keeping an eye on what's happening online. So all the guys who are streaming in, who have dialed in, hello, dialed in. That makes me sound like
they
1,000 years old.
They are dialed in.
They dialed in. They're locked in on the interweb. So you guys are going to. I think you've been sending some questions in already. So when we have questions from the hall here at the end,
more questions.
More questions still coming in.
Already had hellos from. Good afternoon from Tawny Owls in Dartington.
Hello,
Hey,
Tawny Owls.
Tawny Owls.
In Dartington. That's
True to you.
to a whole class of children that can turn their heads 360 degrees.
It's quite terrifying,
It's
actually.
quite terrifying,
Especially if the lights are off. Yeah. So, we're very happy to be here. We're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to come up with a story together a bit later. We're going to tell you about our new book, The Kid Who Fell Through Time. We're also going to talk about the twits. Who knows about the twits? Yeah. We're going to talk about them a little bit as well.
My hand is up.
And just a quick show of hands. Who loves stories? That's good news.
That's good news.
That's very
It's
good
a good
news.
start. It's a good
so
start.
Chris and I have been, we met on the radio many years ago. Some of you might listen to Radio 1. You might not. That's fine. We're not going to judge you here. But you might also have read our books.
I saw some nods. There's a nod at the back. You've got a listener.
We've got some listeners at the back there. That's good.
Are you well? I thought you were.
Thought you were. There might also be some of you who might have read Kid Normal over the years. Yes, some Kid Normal readers down there. So yeah, we've been writing books for nearly 10 years now. And we really love coming to see brilliant young people like you to say, do you know what? Reading is great, but also so is coming up with your own stories. You don't have to write them down. You could just have a nice time making them up amongst yourselves. And that's what we're going to do today.
Yes, so Greg and I have written lots of stories together. We have written 8 books together now.
Stop showing off.
It's too many books. It's lots of books. We've been very, very busy since we first started in 2017. And we have had lots of fun making up stories. And we decided we would like to write a story about time travel.
Got it. I got it.
And it's called The Kid Who Fell Through Time. And it's all about a kid called Angus. And there he is. There's us, first of all. And there's some of the books we've written. I forgot that was there. And there's Angus, who decides that he is very bored at the beginning of the story because he's doing something. And I don't know whether you guys enjoy this or not. Do you enjoy doing your homework?
Well, it's interesting.
Wow, that is quite a response for homework.
Yeah, that is quite a response.
Wow.
I should remind you that we are booing in the house of God.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what we normally have here. But that's fair enough. You know, sometimes homework can be annoying, and that's what Angus thinks. He thinks he's trying to do his history homework, and he thinks, well, who cares about the people in the past? I mean, who cares what happened years and years and years ago? It doesn't mean anything to me. And that's where The Kid Who Fell Through Time continues its story. He meets an amazing woman called Marge. Now, Marge works at the... I don't have the clicker, I put it down there.
Oh, did you?
No, you're better at clicking than I am.
Everybody saying, next slide, please. A whole room of Chris Whitty's. Very nice. There she is. That's Marge. Marge is the lady that runs the cheese counter at the local supermarket, but she has a secret. She has a secret. Cheese is not the only thing that she's really good at. She is also a time traveler, and she has got an incredible time machine that can take you anywhere in the past or in the future, and her time machine is in a shopping trolley. So what you've got to do to travel through time with Marge, you have to get in Marge's shopping trolley, and you have to roll down the hill as fast as you can, and the shopping trolley's got to reach 8 miles an hour, and then you can travel, bash, bang, wallop, somewhere into the future or somewhere into the past. And we love the idea of time travel, didn't we?
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time thinking, where would you go? If you could go anywhere in the past or in the future, I wonder what some of you guys think. Where would you like to travel to in the past?
Hands up.
What would you like to visit? What would you like to see? Yeah.
I would like to see what my job is in the future.
You'd go to that. Well, I think already, because you asked such an eloquent question, what my job will be in the future, you're going to be Prime Minister. I think that's probably true.
I mean, if you want to. You don't have to be Prime Minister.
And where would you like to go?
The Jurassic period.
The Jurassic period, yeah.
I would love to go there. Okay, which dinosaur would you be most excited about seeing?
The Velociraptors.
Yeah, love a Velociraptor.
Love a Velociraptor. Yeah, where would you want to go?
Prehistoric.
Yeah, great.
Prehistoric
Good
times. Yeah,
Really
a bit of
good.
cave person action. What about you?
Stone Age.
Yeah, the Stone Age.
Stone
Let's say
Age,
we want to
really
go a
good
long
idea,
way
yeah.
back into the past, yes?
I go to the past.
The past, yeah. Whereabouts do we think?
Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
Ice Age, good. Ice Age, Stone Age, Jurassic period.
Yeah.
I would go to the future and see my grave.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, that's
Okay.
at least you'll know, won't you? At least
Yeah.
you'll know what happens to you.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, we've got a couple of guys at the back here. Where would you like to go?
Ancient Egypt.
Yeah. Ancient
Yeah.
Egypt. Good answer.
We love ancient Egypt.
Yes.
I would like to go to the future.
Yeah. Anything you want to particularly see or bring back with you, or just hang out?
I want to see what my job is.
What
Yeah.
the job is. Yeah.
Very
okay.
interesting that we have identical twins there. One will go to ancient Egypt and one will go to the future. That's great.
Do you know what? Time traveling twins is quite a good idea for a story,
Time-traveling
isn't
twins
it?
would really freak people out.
Yeah. Should we have a
That's
couple
great.
more? Couple more. Where do you want to go?
Tomorrow.
To where?
Tomorrow.
So just tomorrow. Just
Go
tomorrow.
to tomorrow.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, look, if you wait a few hours, you'll be there.
I mean, we all wish it was Friday sometimes, don't we? I do like just time travel to tomorrow. Last one for now. Yes.
I would go to see my new job.
You'd want to see your new job as
There's
well.
a lot of that going on.
I
That's
like
good.
it. A lot of that going to the
I've had a few
future.
online.
Yeah.
And a few online. Okay, Ben, what are people saying
So let's
online?
read out a few of the online.
Guys, we've got a few. Can we just have your attention for a second? There's a few people on the internet are going to tell us what they think. What's the internet saying?
Let's have a look. So, future to my 9th birthday. That's Amy.
Nice.
Nice one. Michelle's class want to go and see Henry VIII chopping his wife's head off.
Wow. I mean,
I wonder if would you try and stop it?
I think they just want to watch.
Kylie's class wants to go into the future and try a hoverboard. That's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
ASAP.
hoverboard, good, yes.
Talk to President Kennedy about segregation. Wow, that's a deep one. That's great.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
Ro-
that's
Roman times and meet Roman gods.
Yeah, Roman times, definitely.
And Isla wants to go to visit World War II.
Yes, we had a few
Yeah.
of those yesterday, didn't we?
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It
World War II.
was a real spread. I wonder if the person who's asked about the Kennedy thing's in the wrong session.
Yeah, maybe.
But, you know, that's fine. But we had some the other day. A few people said they wanted to go to World War II. One kid wanted to go to the Titanic and warn them about the iceberg. So some very conscientious young people, and that's good.
So we thought about the periods of history that we would really want to go to, and that's where we decided we would send Angus and Marge in our story. Because the best thing about writing a story is you can have anything you want. You can make anything you want happen to your characters. So we thought about some of our favourite periods in history, and we decided, who said ancient Egypt? One of you guys, wasn't it?
Yes, one of
we
the twins.
decided that we would definitely want to go to ancient Egypt. We would definitely want to go to Roman Britain. We would definitely want to go to a medieval castle, almost as if we looked at the Key Stage 2 history syllabus, isn't it? But we decided we'd like to go to all those incredible places. And ancient Egypt is one of the first places that we really wanted to write about. And that's where we meet one of our new characters, where Angus makes a friend far, far in the past, thousands and thousands of years ago. And her name is Aquila. Aquila is an ancient Egyptian girl, and she ends up also falling into the time trolley. And because there's a problem with shopping trolleys, isn't there? There's a big problem. If you're ever going to make a time machine,
Yeah, I don't know
any
if
of you
you've-
guys, don't use a shopping trolley for this reason.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, but most shopping trolleys have wonky wheels. Okay, they very rarely go in a straight line. And you've got to be careful, because if the shopping trolley has a wonky wheel, it could go to the wrong bit of history or the wrong bit of the future. And that's what happens in The Kid Who Fell Through Time, because sometimes things go wrong.
They're hard to steer, those
With
shopping
machines,
trolleys.
time trolleys are very difficult to maintain as well.
So Aquila ends up coming back to our time, and as you can see, she's got her ancient Egyptian clothes on in the first picture there, and then here she is, still looking pretty cool, I think. I think she sort of styles the modern clothes, even being an ancient Egyptian, and she has lots of fun in the present day. So we end up zipping through lots of different periods in time, and occasionally we thought we better have a bit of, information for you guys about history in there.
Yeah.
And this is where, and I've got to warn you, this is where a very, very annoying character makes its appearance.
I'd like to introduce you to the Fact Pig.
Yeah.
How many of you listen to audiobooks? That's good.
I love
That's really
audiobooks.
good. That's loads of you. Okay. So the audiobooks of all of our books are recorded by us, which is not a huge surprise. Chris does the narration, and then it's my job as a show-off to come up with all the voices. Now, the Fact Pig is one of my favorite creations of all time, actually.
It's not mine. I
Chris-
find it very, very, very annoying, so just get ready for this.
Chris really hates the Fact Pig.
So annoying.
Now, what we're going to do is we want to tell you about the Fact Pig, and then you can decide, because actually the audience always matters.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, these are the most important people.
So you're
doesn't
going to
matter what I
decide-
think, doesn't matter what you think.
You decide whether or not this is annoying. So we've got some facts about history throughout the book, which are given to us by the Fact Pig in his very annoying voice. And the first fact that the Fact Pig gives is all about toilet paper.
Okay.
Now, why are we talking about toilet paper, you may be asking yourselves. Well, we thought to ourselves, if you could go into the past and you could take something that you wanted to give to people in the past that would make their lives better, we thought that they would probably enjoy some good quality modern toilet paper. And the Fact Pig is now going to tell us why.
Okay, let me just morph into the Fact Pig. 1 second. Let me know if you think the voice is annoying. I think it's great.
It's really annoying.
Hi, kids!
Pretty annoying, right?
Hi!
Yep.
It's the Fact Pig
Yep.
here!
Very annoying. Okay.
Your friendly, oinking guide to the fascinating world of history.
I warned you. I did warn you.
I'll be popping up throughout the story with some useful facts. Starting with some amazing news about the Anglo-Saxons and what they used instead of toilet paper.
Oh, gross. Is this really necessary, Fact Pig?
Yes, it is necessary. It's historical knowledge. And it's really important.
Are you sure you're not just looking for a cheap laugh by talking about people wiping their bottoms?
No! How dare you! I would never lower myself to such a level. I'm the Fact Pig, remember?
Sure.
Not just a normal pig who thinks bottoms are funny.
Okay. All right then, Fact Pig. I give up. What did Anglo-Saxons use instead of toilet paper?
Moss!
Ew. What? Moss?
Yes, moss. It's soft and absorbent. But how did they know someone else hadn't already used the same patch of moss? That's what keeps me awake at night in my sty.
Okay, too much information. Thank you, Fact Pig.
You're welcome!
That was very informative.
Do you like the Fact Pig?
Look, let me
I think
just-
we'll call that a
Wait.
qualified yes.
Hey, let me look. The Fact Pig can also take criticism. It's important to take criticism sometimes. There was, I'd say, 90% approval rating.
Yeah.
I think there were about 10% of you that were booing.
There were some dissenters.
And that's fine.
Some Fact Pig haters.
The Fact Pig, I'll take that on my snout,
Haters gonna hate,
and we'll move on.
and Pig's gonna tell you facts about history.
Yeah.
as Taylor Swift did not say. Okay, so that's the fact pig, and if you do read The Kid Who Fell Through Time, you'd better be warned that he will pop up throughout the story and give you lots of information about history, but he doesn't last long. He usually tootles off.
Hey.
Sorry. So Marge and Angus end up making an incredible time army because they've got to defeat some bad guys throughout history. So they make this incredible army of people, and we meet some characters like Bjorn Bloodclaw, who is a terrifying Viking warrior. We've got Emmeline Pankhurst, who campaigned to give women the vote. She's very cool. And then just at the back there, next to Marge, a very important character. If you're ever journeying through history, he decides to come along with them for the ride. It's William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
Yeah, of course.
I've heard of him.
And now the reason that they have to put this time army together is because, like every story, there's a villain. Every story needs a terrifying villain. And there he is. He's called the Evil Emperor Kragg.
Yeah.
Now, the Evil Emperor Kragg is from the 99th century, and he's a very evil man. And during the story, he manages to hijack the time trolley and get himself back to modern-day times. So he's in our century. But he discovers, even though he's an evil supervillain from the 99th century, there are some things about life today, in 2025, that he can't really cope with. And we'll just read you a quick bit from the book. This is what happens when an evil emperor from the far future attempts to use the self-checkouts in the supermarkets.
I mean, look, those things, before we get going, those things are annoying even for us now.
They are kind of annoying.
So imagine if you're from the 99th century and you go into your local Tesco's Express and you've got to use the self-service machine, he's going to be cross.
He can't work it out. Okay, so Greg, you're going to need the voice of the Evil Emperor Kragg.
Yeah, so forget about the fact pig for now.
Good.
I know you're thinking about him. I know you are.
Stop it.
But let's forget about him for now because I'm about to become the Evil Emperor Kragg.
That's quite evil.
That was quite evil, wasn't
That's
it?
very evil, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It feels even more evil in a church.
It does somehow. It doesn't feel inappropriate in a good way. And also, you have to be...
Hello.
No, stop it. That's weird.
I am the evil Emperor Kragg,
Really weird.
and I can see every single one of you. You better behave, otherwise there will be trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emperor Kragg is
Okay.
incredibly scary.
And you'll also need to adopt the voice of a supermarket self-checkout as well.
Yes, I will also be doing the voice of the self-service checkout machine. Unexpected item in bagging area.
Very good. Okay, this is what happens when Evil Emperor Kragg attempts to buy some sandwiches.
Okay, here we go. Please scan your first item.
Said the self-checkout machine, as the evil emperor from the distant future approached, followed by his sidekick. He's got a sort of oily sidekick called Dr. Proteus.
Yes, and he talks a little bit like that.
Yes. Followed by his sidekick, dragging a wheelie basket full of sandwiches and assorted charging cables.
What is this primitive idiocy?
Snarled Kragg dramatically, eyeing the machine as if it was a very small and insignificant pimple on the bottom of someone he really, really disliked.
This is the sidekick.
I believe we need to enter the details of the items we wish to procure in this prehistoric device, your foulness,
Said Dr. Proteus, handing him a triangular packet bearing the label Juicy Chicken Trio. Kragg waved the sandwiches dismissively across the red glowing panel in front of him, and the machine emitted a small beep. He exclaimed triumphantly.
This ancient machine is no match for my genius.
Would you like to take advantage of our meal deal?
Asked the checkout in a bright, enthusiastic voice.
Just scan a drink and snack to make big savings.
Ha! Your antiquated sales techniques are pathetic.
Roared Kragg, putting the sandwich in one of the large pockets on the side of his black army trousers.
Please place the item in the bagging area.
Said the checkout politely.
I will not.
Bellowed Kragg.
I am the evil Emperor Kragg, terror of the 4 remaining continents and conqueror of the entire planet. I give the orders, you puny robot.
Please place the item in the bagging area.
The checkout repeated.
Rah!
With a snort, he retrieved the packet and placed it on the platform to the right of the scanner.
Unexpected item in the bagging area.
Chirruped the checkouts.
Please replace it in your basket and try again. And don't forget our great meal deal.
I do not
Screeched Kragg, his voice cracking with frustration.
want a meal deal.
Please place the item in the bagging area.
Would you like me to help you, your mightiness?
Asked Proteus, nervously wringing his hands together.
I would not.
Replied his master in a dangerously quiet voice.
I am an evil genius from the 99th century. I have been plotting total planetary domination for years. Moreover, I've just traveled thousands of years in time in order to carry out my evil plan. I will not be defeated by this irritating, antiquated piece of junk and a warm sandwich.
Leaning forward, he shouted incredibly loudly into the checkout screen.
I'm gonna pick a camera. Okay. You guys are the checkout screen, okay?
Bow before me, for I am Kragg, and I will not be upsold to a meal deal. Allow me to leave with my comestibles or face my wrath.
Thank you.
Just finish with the checkout?
Please wait.
Said the checkout calmly.
Someone is coming to help you. And that's the Evil Emperor Kragg.
There you go. So,
Thank you. Thank you, you horrible twerps.
now, as Greg said, we love making up stories, and we think you're probably quite good at making up stories as well. So, just before we move on and tell you a bit about Mr. and Mrs. Twit, we've just got time to quickly, I think, do your very own time travel adventure.
Oh, good.
So, what we will need, we're going to need something that we can use in your story to travel through time. Like, we've used a shopping trolley. In some stories, there are different machines or different things that can travel through time.
May I?
Please,
May
dear.
I?
Yes, of course.
So we need a vehicle or a thing. How do we travel through time? What are we going to travel through?
A telephone.
A telephone is a great idea. Maybe a
Telephone's
telephone
good.
box as well. Yes.
An old Chevy Impala.
Chevy and
Wow,
Impala,
he
cool.
knows his cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a spud. Thank you. We should chat about cars at the end. Do you have one of those?
I do.
Okay. Right, we might be able to use it. Yes.
Up your grandma's nose.
You could travel in a grandma's nose. Do you know
We're
what?
ready.
It's a great idea because it's never been done. To my knowledge, I don't think anyone's travelled up in a grandma's nose before.
What are people saying online, Ben?
I've got a few in here. The classroom chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
In many ways, whenever you study history in class, you're using your classroom chair as a time machine, guys.
Yeah, that's
A toilet.
Sure.
Toilet,
A toilet,
yeah.
time-traveling toilet, yeah, very
Toilet's
good. Very good.
I'm nearly as tall as the balcony, so I don't want you to feel left out. So yes, go. What are you going to say? What's your idea? Where would you go? A nose hair. We're still in
nose
the
hair.
nasal cavity. That's good.
I feel
yes.
like you guys really interested in the idea of a time-traveling nose.
Yeah. No, well, look. You got to give the people what they want. Maybe
Sure,
write that next.
sure.
Yes.
Tennis ball.
A tennis ball.
Time-traveling tennis
Great
ball's pretty
idea.
good. Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes. A shopping basket.
Basket's nice
Yeah,
as well.
very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
A shed.
A shed's good.
Or should we have a shed?
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
shed.
shed's quite a good idea.
Shed's really nice because what's really fun is like things like the shopping trolley or the shed, they seem quite ordinary. And then suddenly if you get into the shed like you're suggesting, no one's going to suspect it, are they?
No. Right, so we've got a time-traveling shed in our story. Now, the next thing is, where in time are we going to travel to?
Please.
Where do you want to go? Where are we going? Are we going to the past? Are we going to the present? Are we going to the future? Where are we going to go?
We could go to the Ice Age.
We could go to the Ice Age, yes.
Yep.
Maybe prehistoric times.
Prehistoric times,
Yeah,
yeah,
lovely.
good idea. See some dinosaurs, yeah.
The Titanic.
The Titanic.
The Titanic.
Yeah.
We
People
could go
wanna
to the
the
Titanic.
Titanic.
In a
Let's have
shed.
Couple more ideas over here. Yes, you've got a very
You could
high
use some of the
hand.
wood to float
where
on the
would you like to
water.
go?
Jurassic.
The Jurassic period, yeah, where else?
Lovely.
World War One.
World War One.
World War
One. Yeah, we're spreading our war wings. Yeah, yes, who else had an idea? Someone along the back? Yeah, did you have one?
The North Pole.
Where, sorry?
The North Pole.
Oh, the North Pole. I'd love
Yeah,
to go
great.
to the North Pole. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, where do you want to go?
Iron Age.
Iron Age.
The Iron Age. Lovely.
Or
Victorian era.
Victorian era.
Lovely.
Romans.
Yeah, the Romans.
Egyptians.
Ancient Egyptians.
In the shed.
Where should we go? I quite like the idea of going on board the Titanic. Have we got some online, Ben?
We have to the year 3 million. That's Lucas in Bedgrove.
Year 3 million.
Year 3 million is quite good.
Yeah.
To 1666 in London to see the Great Fire.
Nice.
Ancient Egypt. I want to see the head rolling on the ground and the blood spurting out. That must be Henry VIII again.
Okay, we've got a lot of Henry VIII requests.
Very bloodthirsty viewers online.
What about the year 3 million? That's quite nice.
Year 3 million is really good. Okay, that's a great idea. So, really, what we're doing here is one of the ways in which Chris and I write our books. If we get stuck on an idea or we want to come up with a character, well, often you'll suggest something, then I'll go, that's good, how about we do it this? And then you go back, and then I suggest a bit, and then you do. And it's a great way of doing a story together. If you can't think of the whole thing on your own, you get a friend with you to help you come up with a character or a silly name or a silly voice or a silly place, and that's what we're doing right here.
So we're going to climb in our time travel shed, Greg and I, and we're going to travel to the year 3 million in our story, and I think things would have moved on quite a lot in the year 3 million. I think we'll be looking for a piece of incredible technology or an invention or something they've got in the year 3 million that we don't have now.
What might they have?
What might they have? What might they have? Well, you tell us, guys. What do you think? What are you going to bring back if we could bring back one thing in our shed from the year 3 million, what might they have there?
When the robots take over.
The robots may well have taken over. We could bring a robot back, yeah.
The brand new Siri 3000.
The brand new Siri 3000, yeah. Hi there. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Don't.
I do exactly the same thing. When Greg goes, oh, you got it, it's come back, yeah.
Plasma arm cannon.
Plasma arm cannon.
Yeah,
amazing
that could be good.
idea.
I think we should bring back a railgun.
Yep, good idea. A railgun, sure. Bit of Fortnite, yes, absolutely. What do you think?
The last piece of cheese.
The last
I think we have a winner.
We have a winner.
We're bringing back, because in the year 3 million, there's one remaining piece of cheese.
And that's a good mission.
And Greg and I are going to the year 3 million to save it for all humanity.
There you go.
And bring it back in our shed. And then we probably get hungry on the way back and just eat it. And that's probably how the story ends.
Rendering the mission completely useless.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what?
That's great. That's essentially how you start writing a story. And
Please write that story for us.
Yeah.
I would love that story. All right. Now, before we give you guys some time to ask lots and lots of questions, because we know lots of you have got questions, we are going to tell you a little bit about a couple of absolutely horrible, disgusting people, though I think some of you already know. Who said that they knew Mr. and Mrs. Twit already?
Yes.
Some of you have read the great Roald Dahl book.
Now, we know some of you are excited to read the Twits Next Door because we've signed a load of copies for you that you'll get at the end of this. So we hope you enjoy the next adventure in the Twits. So we wrote this last year, and we've taken the Twits and we have put them in a situation where imagine you move house. Okay, you move house, you've got this lovely new place, you're really excited, maybe going to a new school, make those new friends, and you realize that next door you've actually moved right next to the Twits.
No thanks. No.
Could be tricky.
And you know what Mr. and Mrs. Twit are like? They like playing horrible, mean tricks on each other. That's just what they really like to do. And in our book, some new people moved next door to them, and they're called Mr. and Mrs. Lovely. And they're the loveliest people in the whole world. Do you think the Twits and the Lovelies get on well with each other? No.
No is the correct answer.
No. You're absolutely right. And we're going to read you a very little bit from the beginning of the story, because, as you know, Mr. and Mrs. Twit like to play horrible tricks on each other. And as the story opens, Mrs. Twit has decided that she will play a very horrible trick on Mr. Twit. And what she's done is, she's gone around the garden with a lot of jam jars, and she's collected all the wasps that she can find, and she has put all the wasps down the toilet. And Mr. Twit, what he likes to do every morning, he likes to go downstairs with his newspaper and sit on the toilet and read the newspaper. But what he doesn't realize this morning is that the toilet's full of wasps. And this is what happens. With nothing to lose, and the alternative being completely disgusting, the wasps decided they would have to mount an attack in a desperate bid for freedom. Stings at the ready, they surged upwards towards the incoming moon. That's Mr. Twit's bottom. And as one, they plunged their barbs into its craggy, cratered surface. Midway through reading his news story, a change came over Mr. Twit's face. His expression of mean glee was replaced by one of white-hot horror. His eyes widened so much that they looked as if they were about to pop out on stalks. His face went so red, it looked as if it was about to burst into flames. A noise like a steam train in agony came spouting out of his nose, and he shot straight up from the toilet as if it was a volcano that had just erupted with burning lava. Indeed, that was exactly what it felt like, as hundreds of wasps stung his bottom at the same time.
Okay, I now need to become Mr. Twit.
Good luck.
I've got to. So imagine I'm on the toilet. Sorry for that image. I'm Mr. Twit. Okay, and there's wasps about to sting my bottom. Okay.
Roared Mr. Twit, racing through the living room as best he could with his trousers round his ankles, his bare rear end covered with furious wasps like a moving carpet.
Oh, whatever's the matter, my dear?
Said Mrs. Twit, rising from her chair and carefully concealing her expression of wicked delight.
Has something gone amiss in the toilet department? My bottom's on fire!
Roared Mr. Twit, twisting and capering around like a firework that's escaped the box. The wasps took this opportunity to escape, streaming out underneath the front door and flying as far away from the Twits and their horrible toilet as was waspishly possible. That's Mr. and Mrs. Twit, and there's lots more horrible Twittish tricks in the story. But
we should actually just show you one of the
the
greatest illustrations ever from an amazingly talented artist called Emily Jones, who, when you see your copy of the book, you'll see Mr. Twit with his bottom and lots of wasps. There we go. So that's
on the screen as well.
You see that? Yeah. There's a hand-on-mouth situation. Absolutely shocked. I'll show it to the camera. There we go. Hope you're enjoying that, Aberdeenshire.
Now, thank you so much for paying very careful attention and helping us make up a great time travel story in a very hot hall.
Yes.
We have got a few minutes left because I know some of you have questions you wanted to ask about twits or time travel or authoring or absolutely anything. And we'll get some questions online as well from Ben. But let's see if some people in the hall have got a question. We have one straight down the front
row here.
Yes.
Take a couple from the audience and then we'll do some online.
Yes.
Where would you go if you travel back in time?
Where would we go if we travel back in time? Good question. I think I would like to go to ancient Egypt like Angus does and try ancient Egyptian cheese, which is made of camel's milk.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'd like to go and hang out with Emperor Kragg in the 99th century.
I like it.
Because he seems, on the surface, quite scary, but I think he's quite stupid.
I mean, if you can't even buy a sandwich, it's not that cool, is it? Yeah.
How do you make those noises?
How do we make? How does Greg make the noises? He's very good at making.
What noises?
How do you do it?
Like the fat pig?
I sit on my own and practice. That's true. I sit and do silly voices to myself, sometimes when I'm in the bath. So there you go. So you always need to practice silly voices.
No, thank you very much. Right, yes, what's your question?
Would you rather be one of Henry VIII's wives or Anne Boleyn?
Would I rather be one of Henry VIII's wives or Anne Boleyn? Well, I wouldn't
What
want to
was
be
the
Anne Boleyn. Would you rather be one of Henry VIII's wives, or one of his other wives, I guess, or Anne Boleyn? Anne Boleyn got her head chopped off, right? So I'd be a different wife. I'll be Anne of Cleves. I think she did okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the longest
I quite
lived,
like Catherine of Aragon.
Catherine of Aragon. She died in my school, you know.
Did you when you were there?
Not when I was there. No. Hey, rude. Yes.
What's your favourite book you've wrote?
Our favourite book that we've written. Oh my goodness. Greg, I'll give it on to you. It's like asking your favourite child, isn't it? It's hard.
Yeah, I really love. Well, it was a real treat to get to do the Twits because we grew up reading about when we were about your age. I started reading Roald Dahl, and the idea of getting to write stories for his characters was really amazing. So probably this one, and it's also really fun to do. Nasty characters are quite fun to write.
The most fun.
But it's good when they get their comeuppance as well, so we like them.
We like writing the baddies the best, yeah, definitely. Yes!
How long did you take to write the books?
Good
How long
question.
does it take? Yes. Well, when we do a writing session together, because we write our books together, we probably write about a chapter in a day, don't we? About 1,500 words. So it probably takes us a couple of months, I should think, to get the first draft of the book together. And then, are your teachers always telling you that you've got to go back and check your work? Yeah. Well, sorry, even when you're grown up, it's true. We go back and we change it, and we maybe add or take away some characters or some chapters and check it back through, and it always gets much better. Yeah.
How long have you been together for?
How long? Well, so we first met on the radio. We worked on the radio together. Oh my goodness, it must be about 15 years ago now,
Yes,
wasn't it?
15 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, and I started talking to Chris. Chris was a newsreader on my radio show.
Very serious.
Very, very serious. But
Yes.
he's also a very, very funny man. And we quickly became friends. And then we started doing silly stuff on the radio together. And we thought, why don't we write some stories? Let's write some books. And that's really how it happened. We loved coming up with characters, doing silly voices, and that's how it began.
And the rest is Key Stage 2 history. What's happening online?
Good. So, Ruby wants to know how Greg thinks of all the voices for the characters.
Because when we do the audiobooks, that boggles my mind as well, because I'm just doing the narration, and Greg has to change to so many different characters.
Well, I think that we sort of, when we come up with them, we think about the voice when we're actually writing the character. So
He just has to be horrible and evil sounding, and that's how Evil Emperor Kragg sounds in my head.
so that's him, and then
Don't do the fact pick again.
well,
The fact pig?
He did it.
We wanted the fact pig to be sort of annoying and a bit of a know-it-all.
so he's one of those that so you just think about people who
Speak a bit like that and a bit like, I know everything, actually.
So that's how we go with him. And then so Mr. Twit.
In my head, he just talks a bit like that, and sort of he hunches over, and he's a bit grumpy, and he's horrible, smelly children, and all that kind of thing.
So that's, I don't know, just you become
the
him.
person, become the character.
Also, but a lot of the facial things and a lot of what you know about the character will inform how you do the voice, I guess. And I just find it really fun to play around with voices. So yeah, you should do that, but don't annoy your teachers or parents too much. Maybe a bit.
Another question from Michelle Wallace's class. How long does it take to write a book? Obviously, Chris, you work separately as well, but does it extend the time to write a book?
I think, because, as I said, we write the first draft, which is probably 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
But then we have to let Emily or Erica or whoever's doing the fantastic illustrations do their illustrations. We have to go back and change a lot of stuff. So we normally have to really allow a year between handing the first draft of a book in and the book coming out.
Yep.
So it takes a good year. So we're planning a couple of books now, which will probably come out at the end of 2026 and in 2027.
Yeah.
So you have to plan quite a long way.
But the really fun bit is what we were doing earlier together, which is we sit down for a good month or so and just plan it. Just plan all the things and go, what characters? Where's it going to be? What's that character's name? What might their voice be? Do they wear a hat? Do they have big shoes?
Yeah.
Whatever it might be, we think about all those little bits and then we put the story together and then we just write the whole thing.
And that's the nicest thing, is that just have whatever you want. We can just make the maddest things we want to.
You can make it up. You can make it all up.
You can make it up. We make it all up, and then it suddenly exists in a book. It's amazing. Yeah.
What was your first ever book that came out?
First ever book that came out was a book called Kid Normal, and I think some people had read Kid Normal, had they?
Yeah.
About a kid that accidentally gets sent to a superhero school.
Just some legends at the front.
Just a few legends at the front, yeah.
Would you be a Minecraft or Fortnite player?
Oh my goodness. So I played both. I'm not very good at either. When I play Fortnite, I hide in a bush, and then I poke my head out, and some kid shoots me in the head. So probably Minecraft then. Minecraft.
Some of you might have killed Chris Smith.
You probably have. Yeah, yes.
My mum watches Greg James on The Breakfast Show.
Oh,
great.
James, let's say hello to, what's your mum called?
Carly.
Say hello to Carly.
Carly,
Hi.
can you say hi, you're great to your mum when you get home?
All right, we have got like a couple of minutes because some of you guys have got to go out to school.
I've got a million questions.
Okay, so we haven't got time for a million questions, Ben. Why don't we do 2 from Ben
I love this
and 2
one
in the hall, yeah, to finish off.
A really lovely question from Georgia. Would you travel back to the 1990s?
Well, I would travel back to the 1990s. I was so much younger and thinner. It was lovely, and the music was good.
Yes, I'd travel back to the 1990s. I could go back to primary school.
Can you write a book about dragons, says Julian?
Yes.
What
Can we write
inspired...
a book about dragons? Well, I love writing fantasy books, so I will do a dragon book.
What inspired you to move from being a news presenter and radio presenter to writing books?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we still...
That's from Bella, by the way.
Greg's obviously still on the radio, and I still love doing the radio as well. But we loved stories and reading when we were your age, basically. And we remember, I think we both remember quite clearly what it's like to be, if I can use the expression, a child, if that's a good way of describing you.
You can, they are children.
And to be curious and to really love reading and love stories. And, you know, I was in the nicest and the most interesting people are people that have never lost that.
Yeah.
And so when we thought about putting together some sort of story, a book or something together, it was just natural that it was going to be the story for you guys, because you're the best readers, I think.
And you're the best audience as well, because
I
I really love the stuff we get to write about, whether it's silly stuff or imaginative big adventures. I think my sense of humour is about age 10 or 11.
Same.
So that's fine.
So we've got
hold on to that.
2 questions left, I think. Who's got the most amazing, mind-boggling, incredible question that no author has ever been asked before, that we're going to go like, oh my goodness, that's such a good question. Everyone's pointing at this guy and he's like, nah. Okay, we've got a wiggly hand here. And a wiggly hand means a good question. Your question is?
What would your next story be about?
Good question. What would our next story be about? Greg, I will leave it to you to decide how much you want to give away.
I'm actually going to tell you.
Go on.
This is a Tring exclusive.
Tring exclusive.
Tring.
Okay. We are going to, for our next book, and this actually is an exclusive.
It is.
We are going to write a Christmas story.
So don't say any more.
And it's going to be...
Don't say any more.
I can say one more thing.
I'm just making it sound more dramatic. You can say one more thing.
And it's going to be a Christmas story, but it's going to be a spy-based Christmas story.
Wow, that's such a good idea.
So that knowledge is power, remember? So be careful what you do with that knowledge.
I would buy that for Christmas 2026, wouldn't you?
I think I would, yeah.
Sure. Right.
So it's going to be a big Christmassy story. That's going to be our next thing.
Final question of the day. Who's the most... You're getting pointed out. Is it an incredible question? Yes. Okay, it's from the Chevy Nova guy.
Is it about cars?
What is your question, please?
One thing. No. Okay. What is your favourite classic car?
What is, and why not, what is your favourite classic car?
Okay, well, I love 90s BMWs.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I've got an old M5, okay, which is really nice. But my favourite classic Mercedes would be an R107 SL. Like those? You like some? What's yours?
This question and answer is not for the whole audience, by the way.
Austin Mini Minor, or maybe the Mini Cooper original one these days?
No. You are a great guy.
Nice.
What's your name?
Ben Dallas.
Ben Dallas, you're a legend. A round of applause for Ben Dallas, everybody. We've been doing events at schools with amazing kids like you for nearly 10 years, and never once has a car question come up like that.
That's very true.
And I'd like to thank you.
And so,
Be more like Ben Dallas.
pausing only to say Aston Martin DB5,
Okay.
we will...
Like James Bond.
Yeah. We will thank you all very much for being very patient. Thank you for dialing in. Thank you, wonderful Ben, and our Bookshop, which is a fantastic shop in Tring, for hosting us here today. We hope you've enjoyed hearing about time travel and twits and bottoms and wasps and all the rest of it.
Can we have a round of applause for the amazing Bookshop, our Bookshop in Tring? Your books are available when you leave. You're going to get them at school, I think. We've signed them for you.
And can I...
Okay, that's enough.
I've had a very... St Michael's class 5 at St Michael's have asked if you can give them a shout out on the radio tomorrow morning.
What's that? Where are they?
St Michael's, class 5 at St Michael's.
Class 5 at St Michael's.
I would say, why don't you give everybody here a shout out?
Yes, I'll put it in my phone as a reminder.
So we've all got to listen to Radio 1 tomorrow. What sort of time?
It will be at 7:35-ish.
There you go.
Yes.
7:35, we're all getting a shout out.
Right.
Brilliant.
It's going to take a while.
We've got to let you get back to school. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you everyone for coming. Up next.
Thank you.
Our next event is Cressida Cowl next month.
Now
and
get out!
Cressida Cowls. Big thank you to Chris and to Greg. Thank you, thank you.